All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome today to our interview. I'm interviewing Erica today from Katy, Texas. And I chose Erica for a very specific reason, and that is that I connected with her originally on Facebook. I don't even remember how originally. Maybe Erica remembers. I'll ask her in a moment. And we started connecting, and she was actually learning some of my methods that I do for getting traffic to my real estate website and generating leads online. And actually, I think it may have been the Holiday Lights blog post that originally that caught my attention. Anyway, I'm going to let Erica tell you about some of those strategies. And she caught my eye, was doing some big things on social media and was making a lot of noise like I do on Facebook. And I was drawn to that. So Erica started in the real estate market just 3 years ago. And that was after 10 years in technology sales. She was one of the top sales agents in the country for the product she represented. And really, her specialty was marketing and negotiation, which is what she brought over to her real estate business. And she is in Katy, Texas, and would absolutely love your referrals. And I'll let her tell you more about the areas that she serves too, so that you can send those over. So Erica began in 2015 and rose amongst the top agents in the country. So hi, Erica. Welcome to the call.
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much. And you make me sound really good.
Well, you're doing some big stuff, moving and shaking, and I love it. Do you remember how did we connect in the first place?
I do. Actually, at that point, I was with Keller Williams Premier brokerage here in Katy, Texas, and my team lead, Terry Montgomery, had a meeting with me, and I had told her that I was interested in working on online lead generation, and she had mentioned your name. I guess that she had come across you at a former, one of the Keller Williams events, family reunion or something like that. And your name's out there, obviously. So I looked you up and got in touch with you, and actually was trying to bring one of your courses here to Houston. That I'd still love to do that.
Yeah, me too. Connect with Sabrina. We'd love to get out there. I think I did Houston once, but I'm not 100% sure. I know we did San Antonio, and I can't remember. We traveled a lot, but I'd love to get out there. All right, so tell me the reason why I well, first of all, tell you serve Katy and where else?
So I focus primarily on West Houston. I mean, obviously Houston, Texas is a huge area, and so I focus out on the west side, but I'll go within reasonably within 45 minutes to an hour of Katy. So I know a lot of these areas. Of course, you said that my former job was in sales, and so I've traveled a lot of these areas, and I've done sales all over the west side, north side, downtown, and south side of Houston.
Okay, gotcha. And you're an individual agent, right? You don't have a team?
I sure am at the moment. I'm looking at working my way up to starting to build a team.
Okay. Well, it's really cool because as you know, that's my forte is I do have a team. I don't work with clients myself, and I haven't worked with a client myself since 2010. And all of the leads that I close are generated by me and closed by somebody else. So that's a really powerful thing when you can get to that level, really increases quality of life. So if that's ever a business model of yours, you sure have the natural talent to build that way if you ever head that way. But anyway, that aside, so tell us the reason why we're talking today is because you closed 66% of your business last year through Facebook. So, with only being your third year as an agent, you closed a few dozen homes, and a lion's share of those were through Facebook. And I know that there's that when we say through Facebook, that is uh, has more than one strategy and more than one direct source. These aren't all cold leads, and we've got referrals in that mix. So tell us what it means to be a strategic Facebooker like you.
Okay, so yes, I call it strategic Facebooking, and basically I'm utilizing Facebook for lead generation and referral business. And the numbers worked out. So last year in 2017, on my own, I closed 29 transactions, and 19 of those were from referral business that I generated through my presence on Facebook and strategically utilizing that platform.
When you say referrals, are you talking about agent to agent real estate referrals or client referrals?
I'm actually talking about my sphere of influence referrals, as well as agent to agent. I tremendously increased my agent to agent referrals last year through my utilization of Facebook.
Okay, so you're getting referrals, names and numbers of other buyers and sellers, and you're getting these from past clients, your sphere of influence, and through other real estate agents.
Yes, correct.
And you're doing this through your presence on Facebook. So you're creating new relationships and cultivating existing relationships. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's all about being present and staying top of mind and sharing items of value.
Okay, so tell me. So let's start with when you first decided to do this. What was happening? When did you get an idea that this was something that you could do to generate business?
Sure. Okay, so when I first became a real estate agent, I had started out with a well-known global brokerage. It was not the one that I mentioned earlier. And I remember being in the office, and in one meeting, I remember the managing broker saying that we should limit our posts on our personal Facebook page. Of course, they were talking about the purpose of having a business Facebook page. I believe that they mentioned something about an 80-20 rule, that you want the majority of your posts to be about your personal life and the 20 about business. And I remember some other agents saying that they did not believe that any business should be on your personal Facebook page. And it didn't make sense to me. Everybody is on Facebook. We actually interact and, I guess, virtually see more people in that medium than we do in just daily life, because we're so consumed with whatever we have going on in our immediate worlds and our families. And one of the things that stood out to me as well, once I switched over to another brokerage, was I was being told, not to be a secret agent. Don't be a secret agent. And I kind of connected the two, and I said, well, I don't want to be a secret agent, so maybe I'll put my name on the side of my car, but why would I hide myself on the largest social media platform that is out there? And so I started utilizing Facebook. I did kind of tread lightly, because I think that I was letting other people's opinions influence what I was doing. And so I would post, every once in a while about an open house, or, when I got my first listing, my sign in the yard and how proud I was, and things like that. But I get motivated also when I feel like I am putting a ripple in the water, or if somebody else seems to be I guess criticizing what I'm doing, when I know that what I did got a result, it drives me to want to do it even more. And so I had actually received a private message from another real estate agent, and it was a local agent, so who we were friends with, and our kids went to the same school, and this agent had said that she didn't want to offend me, but she was going to unfriend me on Facebook, because she didn't want to see about people's professional lives on there. It was meant to be fun stuff. And at first I was offended by it. And then I decided that, I can't let this offend me. So I told her, I said, listen, you can unfriend me if you want, but you can also choose to just unfollow me. And the key in unfollowing will kind of play in later into the strategic Facebooking and how I do this, and what I'm talking about. So, it was interesting. The thing is, for me, Lori, is I don't necessarily need to care if I'm pissing off other agents in my local office or in my local area when it comes to the marketing and the success that I'm creating for it. Now, I'm a people person. I'm good at relationships. I want people to like me. But I'm not going to be, I can't let myself be offended if, you know, in particular, they may be getting jealous by what I'm doing. I say, you know, post away, and the people that want to see your stuff are going to continue to follow you, and the ones that aren't are going to unfollow you, but you were never going to get their business in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. And on that, because I know you and I could talk for hours and hours about that exact subject, by the way. Um, if you're, first of all, if you're not upsetting somebody, you're doing it wrong. If somebody's
Yes.
not complaining about you, if they're not, I'm one of those people that it's pretty much black or white. You either really like me or you can't stand me. And I probably didn't give you a reason to not like me. I'm just in your face somehow too much, And so
Yeah.
I get it. I 100% get it. And so those people that are going to be afraid of making too much noise and flying way above the radar, this may not be a great strategy for you, or you may pick and choose little bits of what we're going to talk about and apply that. But Eric and I are definitely a couple girls that we just go. And if you don't like it, our business probably isn't for you. We're probably not meant to be, in that world. I get people all the time that'll call my marketing company Ballen Brands, and they want to do business with us, and they'll tell my team, "Oh yeah, I had to unfollow Lori a year ago, but I love what she does, whatever." Okay, so you also see me on YouTube, you also see me on blog posts, you also see me on this. That's okay. There may be certain, you don't want to get my emails every day, or you don't want to get Facebook every day. But what we're talking about is cultivating relationships with people through social media and through Facebook. And Erica, tell them what it is that you do so that you're not just shoving your business in people's face. What are you doing that makes people interested in what you're doing?
Sure. So I'll tell you, I'll start with how I set it up, and then I'll tell you what I do with it. So one of the things about Facebook is that everybody talks about, having a CRM. Well, Facebook is basically your social media CRM. You have the ability to group people, and you have the ability to send out information to those groups based off of who you're trying to target, which is what you do with your CRM, right? So I was of the opinion prior to being in real estate that I actually had weeded out my friend list on Facebook, and I would weed out my friends and defriend and defriend. I don't know what the proper term is. Unfriend people all the time. I do it every few months, and I kept my friends list low because I just didn't want them maybe to see some of my political posts or, other personal things that I had going on. And when I came into real estate and then made the decision that I was going to go in this, I just started to hell with it. I'm going to start friending everybody. And so anybody who would send me a friend request, and still to this day, when I get friend requests, I take a look at who the person is. Okay, because you're going to get some spam friend requests. You're going to get them, especially as a female, from some single guy who's got 5 pictures on his page, and obviously that's not the kind of person that you want to put on.
With no shirt on, or just his abs, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So I see what they're doing. All real estate agents, for the most part, have it in their public view that you can see that they're a real estate agent. And by the way, if you don't, you should. Or you can see if they're an inspector or a lender or, an insurance person, somebody who's trying to connect with you personally, who's already in the industry. And then, of course, you've got your normal sphere of folks who do not qualify as one of those people. So I do allow everybody but just about to friend me on Facebook, but where the difference is, and if you're going to start implementing this theory, you're going to have to go back through your current friend list. But the wonderful thing about Facebook is it gives you the ability to create various groups. So you'll notice that if you have put on your Facebook personal profile that you graduated from, Katy High School, it may automatically start grouping you in or recommending other people who attended Katy High School with you, and you could put them into a group. So I just decided to keep it easy. I know that one of my coaching programs I'm in now, Hank Avnek he's got a list of different groups that he groups people into. And Hank, I'm sorry, I probably said your last name incorrectly.
Are you talking about Hank and Hank?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just keep it simple, and I have I utilize the restricted list that's already built in as a group in Facebook, and then I created a real estate group, and then I might have family. I have a group for former clients, and you can do different things with these groups. I may want to make a post on my personal Facebook page that only my former clients can see. I may want to put a post on there of a listing I have coming up that I only want agents that I'm connected with who are in the agent group to see. And something that I'm going to start utilizing here in 2018 is more targeting some of the real estate agents that I am friends with that are outside of my immediate area. And I might start putting on some posts that only they can see that helps me stay in front of mine when it comes to their referral business.
Now, let me ask you before we go too far, because we only have, I want to make sure we stay within our time frame, and I want to get to the nuts and bolts.
Yes.
Before with that, besides the strategies of how we do our lists and our groups and things like that, and choosing who sees what are you doing specifically that is causing people to want to do business with you?
So I think what I'm doing specifically is that the posts that I'm creating cause me to stay top of mind. You have people who are on your Facebook page who are I say lurkers and stalkers. And you have friends out there, or if you've friended neighbors who see that you've just listed a neighbor's house, or they see the photos that you've done of the listing, or that you've paid for a staging consult and you're showing a before and after. And they see these things often enough when they're on your page that when somebody mentions to them that they're looking for a real estate agent whose name is going to come up, they're going to remember seeing the things that you're posting on your Facebook page. And this has to do with Instagram. It has to do with, Snapchat and some other, LinkedIn and some other mediums out there too. And one of the ways that I utilize all of this and make sure that I'm tying into the people that I want to target is making sure that I know how to get to the right people, whether it's on my personal Facebook page. My business Facebook page is going to reach a totally different crowd than my personal Facebook page is going to reach. And one of the things that I love about my business Facebook page, where I mostly post things just about work, is that you can export your contacts' email addresses out of things like LinkedIn. Or if you've got a child in school and you have a school directory that shows parents' emails, you can take all those emails, throw them into a spreadsheet, and import them into Facebook so that you can utilize that as a targeted audience on your business Facebook page when you boost posts or run ads. Same with information you may get from folks that live in your neighborhood. And so on your personal page, the people that you're friends with, they're going to see your business post, but they also know that you're a person, and they develop a personal connection with you that I think is extremely important, because this is more of a relational approach to trying to generate leads and get referrals than it is, transactional. I'm not picking up the phone and cold calling people here.
Okay, so let me take a step back a second. So what I'm hearing is that you're doing a lot of Facebook posting. You are marrying your personal brand with your professional so that people see who you are as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a family member. But you're really focused on business posting and staying top of mind. So you're okay with posting your open house or your listings or whatever to draw their attention there. And so you're very active. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's another thing too, and all that ties into what I started about when we first started talking was, I'm not being a secret agent, right? And so the other thing is that when I interact with them as well, it's not just them seeing what I'm doing, it's me interacting with them. So when I like their posts, especially I can go into Facebook and filter down and go and view my past clients and see what they've been posting. Maybe somebody just had a baby. All right, then it's integrating other systems. So I use a system called send out cards, and I can take a picture that that person posted on their social media side of their new grandbaby. I can go in, I can create a card that's customized completely with them and send it with a gift. And it keeps that relational business. And I'll tell you what, even with programs like that, whether it's a handwritten card that you go get from the store, if you're utilizing something like send out cards, I have seen that a lot of my past clients will take a picture of it and then tag me on social media, which in turn is more just free marketing with me, because a lot of them say, look at what my real estate agent just sent me. And I'm still their real estate agent, even though they closed on a transaction 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I've been a send out cards user for years, and I've got an integration system built where we use Infusionsoft, and my marketing company, Ballen Brands, we're Infusionsoft developers. And so we integrated a system where every time somebody on Facebook has a birthday or has a baby, or there's a loss in the family, or that we can add one little tag to Infusionsoft, and through send out cards, it'll send gifts, it'll send sympathy cards, it'll send everything. Now we've actually switched over to a new card company, only because it's a little bit smoother for us with how Infusionsoft works. But it's exactly what you just said is so powerful. They get so excited to get a new baby card or a birthday card or something that they will tag us and post it on Facebook. And I do that. It makes them feel special, because how many people are sending cards anymore? Like hardly anybody, And so what you're doing, Erica, is you are at Keller Williams, and you might remember this from being at Keller Williams. We have, I don't know, what is it? Is it still a 36 touch? Maybe it's called something else. But the idea of this marketing campaign is that, and it used to be a lot of direct mail, is that you are touching your clients a certain amount of times throughout the year. And what you're doing, and I do the same thing, is through social media, you're creating those touches by liking their posts, by commenting, by sharing, by generating their interest on your Facebook wall, by sending them a card, right? So you've just brought this old-fashioned direct mail and pop buys into a digital world.
Exactly. And I mentioned Hank earlier. Hank, and again, Avnik, I believe, is that?
Yeah, I may have it wrong. I know who you're talking about. It's Avink in some sort of order.
Yes. And he has a coaching program called 36 to Life. And it's really interesting. I just started this coaching program, and both he and Monica Weekly are my coaches. And we're learning about this as well, and on utilizing Facebook. And he actually, in his program, tells you that if you make these many connections and have this many meaningful conversations via Facebook, if you do XYZ per year, and he gives you the numbers based off of what he actually did, that you should be able to close 36 transactions in 12 months from Facebook alone. And so I'm between what I had already been doing and then what I'm learning and incorporating and starting to incorporate with the model that they're teaching me. The 19 transactions I had last year could end up, just blowing up this year. And so, between my online lead generation with my Ballen Brands website, and then utilizing Facebook, this is one of my main goals here for this year is to continue to develop this and build this out. Now, I do want to mention before we get off the phone that I do tie other sources into here. So again, I mentioned that I have the website that your company built for me, which I love, by the way. And so I'll post blogs on my website, and then I will go and take the links to my blogs, and usually I just put those on my business Facebook page. And then I will tie in video to catch to catch the eye and get people to look, and then have it go back to my website. So then I'm pulling the social media interaction over to my website, to where people might start clicking around and learning more, reading other blog posts, possibly searching for homes, and maybe filling out a contact form there as well.
Yeah, and I want to point out a couple of things, especially for the listeners and anybody that might be new. I am a marketer. That is I would say I'm a teacher first, probably marketer second. I'm not sure which one comes first. They're awfully close. But as a marketer, what I want everybody to understand is what Eric is talking about, and the way she said that Hank explained it. I want to be careful about how that's worded, that you could close 36 transactions through Facebook alone. What's actually happening here is Erica already in the examples that she showed, and I'm going to bring up something else in a minute before we go that she didn't bring up, but in the examples that she showed with cultivating your sphere of influence, cultivating past clients, incubating them through Facebook, right? You're not actually generating those leads through Facebook, and you're not really when you say through Facebook alone. Facebook is a medium to enhance your brand, to stay top of mind. It would be the same thing as doing radio or television to existing clients, to remind them. You're pop by when you're showing up to change somebody's batteries or bring them a pumpkin or whatever in the traditional sense. You're not generating a lead through that pumpkin. You are touching that customer you already have, which reinforces your brand and your awareness. So Facebook in this case is a strategy to continue cultivating relationships. You're not really closing them through Facebook alone. That's a supporting element, right? And such an important one. Now here's where Erica is generating new relationships, whether or not she realizes it or said it, and I can see it. And I see it because I recognize it, because this is what I do. What Eric is doing now is she's going into other Facebook groups and sharing her things that work. So, for example, she goes into another Facebook group that has 20,000 real estate agents in it, and she says, I just generated, I forget how many, I have it written here. Hold on, I have it highlighted. I don't know, 20,000 visits to one blog post on where to go see holiday lights for Christmas, which I believe you learned through my system. But the way the way you did it was all you strategically got out there. You got it in the mom groups. You got it going viral on Facebook. You did a great job. And you went and shared that in this other Facebook group and said, oh, no problem. Here's exactly how I did it. And you gave them you have no secrets. You gave them exactly how to do it. And then in December of this year, I saw you went into one of those groups and you posted how you failed at something, how something traumatic that had happened to you during the year. And then you shared your story of how you rose from it. And you shared your booking calendar that everybody was drooling over and wanted a copy over. And you probably could have sold $1 million worth of those calendars that day if you had them to sell. But you weren't there to sell something. You were there to give away what you learned and what your comeback was like. And I know from my own experience, people don't realize that 70% of my closed business comes through Facebook, and it comes through agent to agent referrals for that exact reason. The other 30% comes from search engine rankings and cold leads. But what happens is I go into these other groups or my own groups and I share how I failed and then how I made it through it. Or I share, here's how I got 100 leads last week. Yesterday is a great example. I got a lead 2 days ago, and it was through a blog that I had written on closing costs when selling your home in Las Vegas, which you've probably heard me say a million times, Erica. This is my top listing earner. Second to that is the real estate market report. And so people Google how much does it cost to buy a home and how much does it cost to sell a home, and I rank on top for both of those blog posts. And so somebody landed on that blog post, they'd Googled it organically, not paid. They filled out the instant home value calculator that I have on there, and then they became a lead. My autopilot ISA text system dialed them. Do you really want to sell a house? Yes. They texted back. My team got on it. The agent got it. We listed it yesterday, 24-hour turnaround. And I tell everybody how to do it. Now, I also have a training system they can buy at ranklikeaboss.com, but I give all this stuff away for free too if you know where to find it, you know. And that helps. Because of that, I constantly remind people I'm in Las Vegas and in Henderson, and Lori Ballen team would love your referrals. But here, you can have this. This is why I'm doing these interviews. Here, you can have this. Here's Erica's top tips for strategic Facebooking, and Erica would love your referrals in Katy, Texas, or the West Houston area. And that is, yeah.
Well, I think another important thing to tie in there that leads back to this whole strategic Facebooking too is that when you are sharing that stuff, how many when you post something, if you've posted something in Lab Coat Agents or one of these other Facebook groups, how many new friend requests you end up getting from other real estate agents?
Oh,
I mean, it starts exploding. It starts exploding. And so going back to the strategic Facebooking, that's when I start friending those agents and putting them on organized groups in my Facebook CRM. And then I also will, put them in Bomb and other, I've got drip campaigns I put people on and things like that, to stay top of mind, so that, just like you said, so they know that Erica Stietenroth with Next Home Real Estate Place is their referral agent for West Houston, and you try to stay top of mind.
Exactly. And so you are doing both. You are cultivating existing relationships that wouldn't possibly be cultivated if you weren't doing what you're doing on Facebook. And you're generating new leads through agent-to-agent referrals by being authentic, by telling your story, and by sharing what you know and what works and what you learn. And that's actually what stands out to me is the way you're doing all of that. And you're pretty natural at it, where other people might have to be, they might have to remind themselves or put it on a calendar that, hey, I need to go share something valuable this week. And it doesn't have to be with other real estate agents. Let me give you an example. If I started a Facebook group for my geographic farm, which is where I live in Summerlin, and it's a large area. I started a Facebook group, and I advertised the group on a Facebook ad and said, hey, Summerlin, this group is for you. And I paid per click, and people would come over and they would request in, and then I would check the county records to make sure that they were actually a homeowner here. And then I would let them in. And if they weren't, I'd send them a message and say, where do you live? And they would tell me which village in Summerlin. And then I would know that they were a homeowner. I was I've always been very careful about who to let in. And then once they got in, I had to think to myself, how do I give these people value? So what I started doing is saying, hey, everybody, who's the best pediatrician in Summerlin? And then I made a list of all of their answers, and I put that on a blog, and I gave it back to them. Hey, everybody, here's a collective list of everybody that you said was the best pediatrician in Summerlin. And I put it on an interactive map for you on Google Maps as well. And this goes on until, and on all of your blogs and on all of your stuff, you make sure you have your brand on there. And I would put on there, this is courtesy of me. And oh, by the way, I am your Summerlin real estate agent. Just that now I'll tell you what, it took a long time for it to start paying off. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of purpose. But if you have a geographic farm, or you've got a specialty like military or 55 plus, or you want to start a mom group or a grandma group or a dad group or a fireman group or a soccer parent group or any of those kind of things, all you have to do is figure out, what do those people ask in the group, answer it for them in a way that is incredibly valuable. And they will eat that up like candy. It's an absolutely incredible strategy if you have the time to do it. The reason I say past tense is because I didn't have the time. And ultimately, I really didn't have the talent to resource it out to. And would love to bring it back someday when I find somebody hyper local that I want to hire to run our hyper local department out here. It's the same. Huh?
I would tell people, when you start groups, be careful what you start, because you've got to make sure, and the key to all of this, whether it's a group or just posting on Facebook, like you said, is going to be the consistency. But, I started a group here called Katy Home Values, and then I put official site because I was worried that another agent might try to copy my idea. And so I had started putting monthly market reports for the subdivisions that were requested by the members in there. And then last year, about halfway through into the fall, I started getting so busy that I wasn't able to get around to those market reports. And again, it's just me; I don't have an assistant. So, so just be careful what you start and make sure that you can follow through with it.
Yep. Just like any other lead generation strategy, you have to know what it's going to take. Can you commit? How much is it going to cost? How long before it returns? And are you willing to wait long enough and put the energy and money and time into it before it returns? And if the answer is yes, then don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle happens. Stick with it. Do the stuff. And Erica, you're going to continue to grow. You're doing a great business, and your strategies are spot on. And so I think you're in my prediction for you is your agent to agent referral business is going to grow massively. And if you ever want to do a call with me, I can probably help you on systems and finances on that, because you really got to know how you make money as a referral agent, because it can catch you quick if you're not understanding how that model works. I don't know where you're at with that, but just as an FYI, because I've been doing this, that's kind of my world.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
So, yep.
One thing that I just have to throw out here, just because I think it adds a little bit of humor to all of this, my husband, I am on my phone all the time. And so some people, I definitely would say I'm addicted to my phone. I'm probably addicted to social media. And so I'm on it, posting on stuff all the time. And, my husband will jokingly come in a room, whether it's he's getting home from work or, just walking in the living room and I'm sitting on the couch staring at my phone screen, and he'll say, what are you doing? And I'll say, I'm working, and he'll start laughing, and he'll say, you mean you're Facebooking?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am. And it's working for me, so.
Yeah. And it's the same with Snapchat or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever social network it is that you're applying to yourself. As long as you know what you're doing, you're seeing a return on it. It's not just a time suck, as Ben Kinney calls it, but you're really doing it strategically, like you said, strategic Facebooking, then it pays off. So Erica, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Erica Stietenroth, did I pronounce that right?
That's right.
Okay, and in Katy, Texas, and I will put a link to all of Erica's contact information, how you can reach her, to learn more about what she does, to send her referrals, to follow her on social media. She's going to give me some little checklists and more on what it is that she does. I'll put in the write-up for all of you guys, and continue to watch Erica, because she's going to do big things. So thank you so much, Erica. And I appreciate you being such a great Ballen Brands client and advocate. And I'll continue to network with you wherever we can.
Absolutely, Lori. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. You go out and have a great day.
All right. You as well.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.